we launched the Global Open Data Tracker in May earlier this year. This is a really valuable tool that includes the Innovation Atlas. That's a view of what's happening where around the world with regards to open banking and open finance, and the Standards Library. This is a tool that allows you to see all of the different standards that are emerging around the world, understand what's in them, and compare them. This was something we developed and launched with the Smart Data Foundry, and we're going to continue to keep it up to date. So it's a really valuable tool for the whole ecosystem. So Chris, what do you think is the most interesting development we're seeing in open banking standards at the moment?
So I think I'd have to say the introduction of the concept of service requests or service initiation, whereby a fintech can initiate any service that a bank already offers, such as creating a new lending facility, even creating a new account.
Yeah, no, I think this is really interesting. It's kind of standards-based foundations for embedded finance. That's the thing that really drives the P&L for a bank, if they can sell more products, capture new customers, and really drive their core business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it gives banks a really strong incentive to develop really well-performing APIs.
So the other interesting thing we're seeing as well is how payment initiation is developing, so it can support so many different and additional use cases.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone's heard of this concept now of variable recurring payments, but it's really starting to take hold. It started first in the UK. It's going to be a key part of the payment initiation standard in Saudi Arabia. It's being introduced in Brazil. So yeah, I think this will be a global phenomenon soon.
So Chris, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges we still face in terms of the rollout of open banking around the world?
I think the first challenge is in a market or a region where there isn't a well-defined standard. That leads automatically to fragmentation. It's very hard for the market to adopt.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're also still seeing a bit of inertia from the banks. I think some of the banks are really starting to grasp the significant opportunity that open APIs represent. But we do still see a bit of a battle in markets around kind of the appetite to do this quickly, and sometimes actually making it much more complicated for themselves by trying to build everything.
Definitely.
So I guess another question, Chris, where do you stand on the question of a single global standard versus each market kind of driving innovation in a slightly different direction?
So yeah, I think a single global standard is an admirable end goal, but we're some way off that, and it may never fully happen. I mean, I think it's important to standardize some things or work towards a global standard for some things, and we've already done that to a large degree with the OpenID Foundation security model that was called the FAPI security profile. That has effectively become the de facto global standard for security. I think the consent model is something that can be standardized, but I think when you get down to very specific payloads, I mean, even if there is a standard within a market, different banks support different data in their core systems. So some things are much easier to standardize and should be much more of a priority, I think. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think it's a laudable but probably unrealistic objective and expectation. And actually, I think this complexity and fragmentation is here to stay, and it will probably significantly accelerate innovation as each market's looking to tackle different challenges in slightly different ways. So yeah, I think this complexity of standards is here to stay for us for a while. So Chris, what are your predictions for the standard space over the next year?
I think there's two things that I can see coming in many markets. That's a focus on variable recurring payments, moving to payment initiation models which support more use cases. And the other is the concept of service initiation or service requests to enable third parties to initiate services that banks already offer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of the other things as well, we're seeing an increased focus on the importance of conformance and certification by regulators and central banks to make sure they're really high quality ecosystems. I guess another thing on my mind, I think we can be fairly certain that within a year's time we'll have more standards rather than less. So the fragmentation and complexity will continue. And the Global Open Data Tracker is something that, as we said, we launched earlier this year, but this is something we're going to continue to maintain on an ongoing basis. This was built by the industry for the industry. And with ever increasing complexity, as we've talked about, it would be great to get help from anyone else in the industry who wants to contribute to this. So if you find it useful, if you're seeing things in your markets that you think we can add to it, please let us know. Thank you.